Welcome to the Mr. Long Show, guys. I just wanted to record a quick video so I could explain the 2030 paper, which is going to be the final assignment for our Health 2 class. And the goal is to create self-awareness and motivation through what we've been learning about all semester long, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I just feel like if I post this to the classroom, you guys are going to have a ton of questions. So we know about this pyramid. We should know about it pretty well at this point. The assignment is going to be to write a paper and it's going to be about 1 page in length. It's going to be divided into two main parts. There's going to be the part of, life doesn't turn out so good, and it's because your bad habits kind of dominate your life. And then it's going to be, if that doesn't happen, if you can fulfill all these needs, especially at the bottom of the pyramid, and work your way up. So in the first example where life is not so good, you're probably going to find it hard to really get up to the top half of the pyramid. And as a matter of fact, Maslow said that really when you get the bottom half of this pyramid, or the bottom 3 categories even, a lot of times when you get this kind of stuff, you don't really necessarily appreciate it as much. It's like, for example, if you get enough sleep, you're probably just gonna feel fine. You don't really understand the benefits of sleep until you're not getting enough sleep. So if these needs are fulfilled, that's good, but there's not a whole lot of benefit there. And really, the motivating stuff is really, it sits at the top of the pyramid, and that's what you're going to write about from that perspective in the second half of the paper. All right, the good life. So I'll explain a little bit in more detail, but notice the self-actualization part, which some psychologists say takes a long time to get there. But notice it says desire to become the most that one can be. So self-actualization, again, is achieving your full potential. And Dr. Jordan Peterson says that motivation comes from 2 things. It comes from the fear of failing, or in this case, maybe becoming something that you don't want to be, or being stuck in a situation that you don't want to be in. And motivation also comes from your ability or your likeliness to get some kind of reward. And that's where it's beneficial to write about the good things. So anyway, part 1, the bad, the ugly, and Dr. Jordan Peterson also said, get your fear behind you to push you forward. So that's the point of this whole thing. I mean, it can actually be a little bit depressing to write about some of your biggest flaws and your bad habits and all that, but hopefully that's going to motivate you to not end up in this situation. So imagine your bad choices constantly get the best of you, not just for 1 hour or 1 day, but habitually for the most part of the next 10 years. You're going to write about what life would be like for you in 2030 if this happened. Psychologists would say you are living life on the bottom half of Maslow's hierarchy. While this may be depressing, it will force you to deal with denial, repression, or other defense mechanisms and bad habits or choices that limit your potential. You may wish to use the following questions as a guideline, and I'll let you guys just sift through that and check that out yourself. All right, but one of the requirements is to make references to Maslow's hierarchy. So just if you're talking about the different stages or some of the things within those stages, just try to make it clear what stage you're referring to. All right, the second part of this paper, I call it the good life, and I picked a quote from Naval, from the Naval podcast. A calm mind, a fit body, and a house full of love. These things cannot be bought; they must be earned. And when you are writing about your good life, I think it's important to realize that for pretty much everyone, it's not just like sitting back and doing nothing and having a really comfortable life. It's a life that you're going to be challenged in. But you're going to be successful and fulfilled. So imagine you start correcting your bad habits today. Your good choices now become habits. You start taking care of yourself and living to your full potential. You surprise yourself with what you can do, what you can do, and what you have already achieved. Life is not easy. It's still quite a challenge, but it's a challenge you enjoy. You get up every morning ready to take on the day. You are busy, but you are fulfilled. You are evaluated by a psychologist, and they say you are living at the top of Maslow's hierarchy. Describe what life is like for you in 2030 at the top of the hierarchy. You may wish to use these questions as a guideline. All right, so some suggestions. Think about your family members, and maybe what struggles they had, maybe what successes they had as well when you're writing this. You know, a lot of times we don't realize this until we're adults, but we tend to be more like our family members, our parents, our siblings, immediate family members, that is. We're more like them than we think, and sometimes you're like not realizing that until you're 30 or 40 years old or something, but it is true. And then I also suggest writing over the course of more than one day. You might have a day where you're just feeling, certain emotion. Maybe you're feeling a little pessimistic that day or optimistic even that day. So just to spread this assignment out over a couple days, and I'm going to give you a whole week to do it. So I think that would be good. As always, guys, let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.